where news comes first. This is WECT News.
Good evening and thanks so much for watching WECT News at 11. I'm Daniela Henke. A brand new Cape Fear Memorial Bridge is on the horizon. Nearly $250 million from the federal government is going towards the bridge replacement project. WECT's Delaney Tarpley caught up with the planning organization and a senator who's been advocating for this funding. Delaney, how are they reacting to this news?
Well, Daniela, as you can imagine, both are thrilled. The executive director of the Wilmington Metropolitan Planning Organization even called it a, quote, once-in-a-lifetime announcement. The funding will finally get the replacement project closer to reality.
This is a major step forward for this project.
The federal government announced $242 million will go towards funding the replacement of the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge. It's about half of what the total cost of the project is expected to be. Wilmington Metropolitan Planning Organization's Executive Director Mike Kozlowski says the replacement is very necessary.
The bridge does not have adequate capacity to carry the amount of traffic that it carries today. Obviously, with a new bridge, we're looking at going from 4 lanes to 6 lanes with a multi-use path.
There are other plans also in the works for the bridge, including changing the location and moving it further south down the Cape Fear River. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis has been asking federal leaders for this funding now for a while.
A real testament to what happens when you work on a bipartisan basis for stuff that really matters.
He says starting work on this project will bring the bridge up to par with the other growth Wilmington is experiencing.
We've got to have the infrastructure to accommodate the growth, and I do believe that this bridge project, the work that we're doing at the ports, are going to be a great example of economic development opportunities to come.
Next steps involve identifying additional funding opportunities, and many are wondering if the option of a toll bridge is still on the table to help.
Our board went on record in the past identifying that they wanted to explore all potential funding opportunities. We would continue to work with NCDOT to identify the necessary funding to deliver this project.
This will all be a team effort between politicians, NCDOT, and planning staff. As for when we could start to see work on this project, Kozlowski said there is currently no set time in mind. Delaney Tarpley, WECT News.